Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 694, we're going to talk about Moritte of the Frost. This is a blue-green. For 5, we get a changeling, a snow changeling at that. You may have Moritte of the Frost enter the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control. That's pretty neat. Except it's legendary and snow in addition to the other types. Permanent, so it can be a land, a planeswalker, a creature, whatever. If it's a creature, it enters with 2+1/+1 counters on it and has changeling. So that is kind of where I went. I was like, it's like having a clone in the command zone. So naturally, with that, I put in clone. And then I kind of spiraled down the rabbit hole. Because I was like, well, there's clone. We've got Dance of Many, which doesn't see enough love. It's an enchantment that puts a token clone into play. You got to pay for it. It's one of those old cards from like the Dark that, Cackling Counterpart. Here with one card, we get 2, Altered Ego. It kind of works with the +1 counter-ish theme. Infinite Reflection, Identity Thief, Mercurial Pretender, Spitting Image, and of course, Rite of Replication. So that's kind of, it was clone tribal, if you will. But let's get into our ramp, shall we? We have, it's blue-green, so we've got all the assorted kinds of ramp. Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, Soul Ring, Farseek, Simic Signet, Growth Spiral, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Fertilid. Let's talk about Incubation Druid, though. Here again, it is ramp. It's 2 mana, but, it taps for... But if it has a 1/1 counter on it, you tap it for 3. So it's kind of sweet. So we're developing a sub-theme of +1 counters now. But continue on with the ramp. Simic Cluestone, Search for Tomorrow, Spectral Searchlight, Roiling Regrowth. This may be a little bit overkill. Again, I keep doing this. Pristine Talisman, Simic Locket, Circuitous Route, Explosive Vegetation, Commander Sphere, Sky Diamond, Moss Diamond, and Quandrix Cultivator. I kind of like this. 4 mana seems like a lot for a ramp creature, but it's a 3/4. And it's a Turtle Druid. Oh, I used the wrong card. Here, let me get the Dick Tracy out of there. Put in the Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, what are we going to be copying? What we're going to be cloning? Well, first off, a clone is the best creature on the board. I mean, if your opponent plays something, it is the best creature on the board. So, but what we want to be copying is, first and foremost, Baul Visionary. I love to make Baul Visionary work. Just simply because we can't have more than 1 copy of anything, just due to the nature of our format. So, a Baul Visionary win is just up there. I mean, it takes, Rite of Replication, pretty much. But other stuff, Meteor Golem is a heck of a thing to copy. Acidic Slime, Reclamation Sage. These are cards that we play anyway, right? But even stuff like Trigon Predator. Because, flying, that's early flying, and destroying an artifact enchantment just because, that's some good stuff. Loyal Guardian, here again with the +1/+1 counter theme. If we make a bunch of copies of it, our team is getting ridiculous. And then there's Impervious Great Worm, because why not? Why not make a bunch of copies of a 16/16 Indestructible, right? And then Zamik Gill Mage. Here again, the +1/+1 counters. Oh, and the beautiful part about this one is, before creatures enter the battlefield, you can activate that first ability a bunch of times. If you've got an extra 6 mana, you activate it 3 times. The creatures are entering the battlefield with an additional 3 +1/+1 counters on it. So that's always beautiful. Master Biomancer. Each other creature. Yeah, right? See? The +1 counter thing is getting kind of strong. Now, I skipped card draw, didn't I? We've got Rites of Flourishing, because, it's a great card, and I'm Brian Canada. Harmonize. Tatiova. I mean, this is just... It's hard for me not to put it in every Simic deck that there is, or Quandrix, I guess, blue-green deck. Because play a land, draw a card. Oh, and you gain life, because why wouldn't you? But Urban Evolution's a great card. I've got it in the card draw as opposed to the ramp, because you're always going to draw the 3 cards. You may not be able to play a land. The odds are in your favor, but Stroke of Genius, because we do have quite a bit of mana, and Zimone, Quandrix Prodigy. Now this, we're probably going to have 8 lands at some point in time. And whoa, 4 mana tap, draw 2 cards. Okay. Let's look at the other quote unquote other category before we get to removal. Now, Planar Bridge, I'm not exactly certain where. Man, I went through a heavy Planar Bridge phase when it first came out, because this card was cheap. You could get them under $1, and I bought a ton of them. But yeah, it's a good card, and it. A surprise blocker of an Impervious Great Worm is pretty good. Or a surprise blocker of, Acidic Slime to pop up good stuff. Biomass Mutation, here again, we've got a lot of mana. We can just turn our Acidic Slimes that are 2/2s that we've got a million copies of into big bigs, right? Court of Calling. Yeah, another way to tutor out that creature. Sahilis Artistry is another way to copy. You can copy an artifact. You can copy a creature. Sakashima's Will. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of target creature under turn, so that's sweet. You can turn everything you've got into Impervious Great Worms. We're running a fog, because, we got it, right? And then, I know, this is actually leading into the removal package here. 8 mana is a bunch. It is a whole bunch for a control magic type effect. +2 and trample, it's a bit much. I recognize that. But I also recognize that 8 mana in this deck is probably like 5 in any other deck. So let's look at our removal. Obviously, if I'm running Yavimaya Embrace, I've got to control magic. But the little bit of counter magic, I have a Remove Soul. Most people play creatures. We are playing Commander. Most of them are creatures. Negate. A Counterspell that has seen some play. That thing has countered some spells right there. It is nowhere near mint condition. I've been countering spells with that for 20 years. Naturalize, Return to Nature. Tribute to the Wild, I like. This is one of those early Commander cards. But sacrifices an artifact or an enchantment. Everybody, except you. And then Quandrix Command. Choose 2. Love the commands because you get to choose 2. It's helpful when the abilities are, all 4 of the abilities you can see yourself using, But bounce a creature or walker, okay. Counter an artifact or enchantment spell. That could be useful. Put 2 1/1 counters on a creature. I'll admit that's kind of what sold me on this card for this specific deck. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their yard into their library. A little Gaz Blessing action there. So, Boomerang. What is that? Annul. Gaz Blessing and 2 counters on target creature. That's a card, but I'm having trouble calling it to mind. Anyway, let's look at our non-basic lands. Of course, I had to start off with a Reliquary Tower because of that Stroke of Genius and the other random card draw. Command Tower. Novjin, the Heart of Progress. On each creature that enters the battlefield this turn. That's a really good land for this type of deck. Did I put a Fertilid in this deck? I need a Fertilid in this deck. I don't remember saying that. But it's +1, it's ramp, and yeah, it works off counters. How did I mess that? Anyway, Woodland Stream, Rimewood Falls, Simic Guildgate, Temple of Mystery, Thornwood Falls, Lumbering Falls. Why are they all falls, right? Quandrix Campus, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse. 1 card left. You know what it is. Rogue's Passage. That's right. So, that is it for Moriette of the Frost. There was I didn't... A lot of these enemy color call time cards, once we found out that Strixhaven was enemy colored, I'll admit I kind of held off on them because I knew that we were going to be getting a lot of enemy color support cards in Strixhaven. So that's why I'm finishing up a lot of these now. So we're going to put 694 on the wall. Just occurred to me that I'm going to have to move my John Avon painting, which once we get done, 7 more decks, and I have to put one there. I guess I'll just put it over to the next. Anyway, that is what I have got for today. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. And right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.